Hello and welcome to this instructional Anaplan video brought to you by BI. Today we're going to talk about hierarchy level selection and formula use. Let's imagine that we have many nested lists forming a large hierarchy. We might want to work with and identify only specific hierarchical levels. Today we're going to see how to do that. We're going to see how, by creating a net of line items with specific summary methods, we can identify the specific hierarchy level we need. We're going to create a dedicated module in which we're going to use specific line items for hierarchy filtering. We're going to look at two use cases. The first one is how to create filters that can show specific hierarchy levels on a dashboard without losing the option to synchronize. The second one is how to apply formulas to different levels of the hierarchy in a single line item. Now let's switch to Anaplan and see how this works. We're going to be using this module for the purpose of our example. It has one list dimension, the products list. It is a part of a large hierarchy, which contains four lists: products list, customers list, list of countries, and list of regions. This module contains a small amount of data to make it easier to follow. I've published this module on a dashboard. We can see that we currently have the synchronize selection option. However, let's say that we would like to see only some levels of the hierarchy. Let's remove L2 countries and L3 customers, for example. Fortunately, now we lose the ability to synchronize. We're now going to see how to create a hierarchical filter so that you'll still have the synchronize selection option and at the same time see only some levels of the hierarchy. For our purpose, I've created this module with several line items. Out of this, we're going to be using this line item L4 filter in order to carry out the filtration by hierarchy in our demo dashboard. In that line item, as you can see, each level of the hierarchy has a number assigned to it, with number 4 to the lowest level of the hierarchy and number 1 as the highest level of the hierarchy. We're now going to show you how to build that. Let's now go to the blueprint mode of this module. Here we can see our 5 line items. Ultimately, we're going to use only L4 filter for the filtration in our dashboard, and the rest are required in order to assign the proper numbers to each level of the hierarchy, as we saw earlier. We have set our filtration line item, which also corresponds to the lowest level of the hierarchy, to the number 4. This is easy enough. However, we can see that the summary method now is set to sum, as it is by default. And this is not what we want. We want a specific number for the summary. Therefore, we need to play with the summary method for this line item a bit. Since we want the summary for the line item to show a specific number, we can use the ratio summary method, which takes the ratio of two specified line items as a summary. We need a line item that is showing the number 3, will be used for the numerator, the ratio, and for the denominator we need the number 1, so that the 3 will remain as it is. This is why we have the L4 base line item, which is a line item of 1s. For our number 3, we have this line item, L3, which has L3 customers as its dimension. The idea is to have the summary method for L4 as the line item L3 divided by 1, hence giving it 3. In a similar fashion, we're going to build our L2 and L1 line items, giving the numbers 2 and 1 respectively. There are two important things to note. First, each line item should have the respective list from the hierarchy as its dimension. Secondly, the summary method of each of them should be ratio, having as a numerator the line item corresponding to the higher level in the hierarchy, and as a denominator the L4 base line item. Now let's do that. Since our last line item is just going to show once, we can just set it to min, max, or average. It doesn't really matter. And now that we've done that, we can see if our L4 filter line item shows the expected numbers. As you can see, it does. We can now use this line item for the filtration in our dashboard. Let's do that. We're going to add a new rule. We're going to refer to the level selection module and to the L4 filter line item. Now that we've added the filtration line item, we can decide which levels of the hierarchy we would like to see. As you remember, 1 corresponded to the highest level of the hierarchy and 4 to the lowest level of it. Therefore, if we would like to see the lowest two levels, for example, we could set the filter to greater than or equal to 3. And now we can see the lowest two levels of the hierarchy. More importantly, now that we've made our filtration, we can still use the synchronization option. And that was our first use case. Let's move to the second one, where we're going to see how to set formulas on different levels of the hierarchy, but for the same line item. For our second use case, we're going to use the same exemplary module shown in the beginning. I have added several line items to it, needed for our purpose. Here we have units sold per product that roll up to the higher levels of the hierarchy: customer, country, and region. Let's say that we would like to see the percentage each level of the hierarchy is from its parent. In order to do that, we need to get the parent value for each level of the hierarchy. We're going to do that in our parent value line item. In this example, it should show 50 for products 1 and 2, 60 for products 3 and 4, and it should show 110 below customers 1 and 2, as it is the value for France. Below France, we should see the sum for the appropriate region. It is 595 in our case. For that, we're going to create a series of lookups, conditional formula in the parent value line item. We are also going to play with the summary methods of our line items. Let's get started. First, I already have the line items showing the parent hierarchy of each product. Each of them is formatted as a list, and all of them form the whole hierarchy. We're now going to use them for our lookups. First, let's get the units per customer. We're going to do it in this line item, L3 customers units. We're going to take the units, and using the lookup formula, we're going to refer to the parent of the product. You can see that this line item now shows the units per customer. However, this summary is just a simple sum, thus doubling the value in this case. Since we need to have that specific value as a summary, we could use the min, max, or average summary methods. And now it works as expected. We're going to do this 2 more times for our L1 and L2 levels of the hierarchy. And now you can see that the values for these 3 line items are as expected. Now, in order to refer to the parent value of each level of the hierarchy, we're going to need a conditional formula in our parent value line item. In it, we would like to identify the different levels of the hierarchy. As you remember, we've already a number assigned to each of them in our level selection module, and we're going to be using them when building our formula. We're going to refer to that module. We're going to refer to the L filter line item. We're going to say that if it's equal to 4, which is the lowest level of the hierarchy, then we're going to take L3 customer units, which is the parent for the lowest level of the hierarchy. We're going to continue with the next levels. If the level is equal to 3, then we're going to take the units for its parent. Then, if the level is equal to 2, we're going to get the regional units. Finally, if it's any other number, we'll have a 0. The values we get here look good for the product level. We indeed get their parent value. However, we can't see the parent value for the higher levels. We only get simple sums. What we can do now is use the formula summary method, which is going to apply the same conditional formula to each summary and therefore giving us the parent value for each level, up to the highest level at least. Let's do that. We can see that now it works as expected. For customer 1 and 2, we get the value of unit for France. For France, we get the regional value. From this moment on, we can easily apply our formula to check what percentage the unit for each level of the hierarchy is from its parent. In conclusion, there are cases where you might need to identify and work with specific levels of your hierarchy. That way, you can be more flexible in your filtrations and with your formulas. For more information on list hierarchies and different summary methods, you can visit Anaplan's Anapedia. Thank you very much for your attention and have a great day. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.